So this is just going to be a quick one, but a couple months ago I made a video on how to make a pigeon pie. An awesome recipe, really tasty and pretty simple, but I left out one really important step, and that's how to actually get the breast meat out of the pigeons. It's something that not many people know how to do, and it's something that I've decided I'm going to show you how to do. So today I went out on a really awesome pigeon hunt with a couple of friends. I think we shot about 230 birds in total, and that's only the ones that we found, and that's a really good haul. We shot both rock pigeons and red-eyed turtle doves. These are two of the most hunted game birds in the country, and although they can be quite a mission to prepare, if you have a good recipe, it's all completely worth it. So what do you need to do this? Well, I've got my knife. I've just sharpened it now about 5 minutes ago, so it's ready to go. It's very important that your knife is sharp, otherwise you're going to have some serious problems. I've got a bucket of water to clean my hands in. This does get very messy. Your hands get full of blood and then full of feathers, so it's like this furry mess all over your hands. I've got a cutting board so that I don't damage this deck over here. I have a bin to chuck all the feathers and the bones in afterwards, and of course I've got my packet of pigeons. This is just a few of the pigeons, I don't know, maybe between 12 and 20 of them that I shot today. The rest went to the farm workers and to the other guys that were shooting. Let's bring the first bird out. This one right here is a red-eyed turtle dove. I really like the dove meat. There's less meat on the birds, but the meat is a lot more tender than the pigeon meat, and it's got a more mild taste. The pigeon meat has quite a strong taste. So to start off, what you're going to want to do is to just pluck some of the feathers that are on the front of the bird. This will just allow you to see what you're doing once you start getting the breast meat out. So I do this over the bin. Just gonna pull some of these out, not very many of them, and that'll expose the breast quite nicely. From this point you snap the wings all the way back, bring them all the way back, and then with your hand you start feeling behind the breastbone, behind the breast meat, and by squeezing in you begin to separate the breast meat from the rest of the bird. And with the doves you can just pluck the whole breast off in one go, but with the pigeons you actually need a knife most of the time, because the bones are a lot tougher and the meat is a lot tougher. So with this pigeon, let's see, I think I've left this bird too long, it's quite hard, so I'm going to use the knife. So you've felt behind you now, you've felt where the breast meat ends, and you've pushed your fingers in to kind of separate that. You're now going to just stick the knife in there, all the way through the back, and the knife should go through pretty easily, and you can cut the breast right out. It's very simple. Take the knife all the way around on both sides towards the chest area and just snap it back. Now this part can be quite messy because the bird's crop is in the front. You don't want to cut the crop, because then you're going to get all the food that the bird's been eating all over the place. So you stop cutting just before the front, and for this last part just twist and pull until the meat comes off. And that's it. It's the first breast. Put that aside. See what I mean about the feathers on your hands? And there's not much left of the bird after you've taken the breast meat off, so that can just go in your bin as well. Next bird, also a red-eyed turtle dove. I'm going to follow the same procedure, and I'll fast forward this part until I get to a pigeon, and I'll show you how to do a pigeon. Okay, we now have a rock pigeon out here. You can see the chest is slightly bigger. There's a bit more flight muscle. It's because these birds spend more time in the air. The doves like to sit in the bushes, but that means more meat, but the meat isn't as tasty. So I like to have a blend of both the pigeon and the doves, because then you get enough meat, but you also get that tender dove meat. That's really good. So same procedure, pluck feathers out the front. So this breast is quite a bit bigger, and these pigeons you're going to have to actually cut through the meat because they're really a lot tougher than the doves. Okay, so again, snap the wings back and hold them together. Find that part where the breast meat separates from the organs, and just stick your knife all the way through and cut that meat out. Some people like to actually separate the skin before putting the breast meat off, but I find this isn't necessary. I usually do this right at the end. Let's get this last piece off. The pigeon is also a lot harder to twist the meat off just because the bones in the front are so strong. So you actually have to just use a knife and hope that you don't cut through the crop. Okay, that pigeon's done. We're just going to fast forward through the rest. Cutting around the neck area is quite important because it cuts all those little tendons that connect the flight muscle to the wings. If you don't cut those, then you're going to have a real trouble trying to twist the breast meat off. And there you go, that's 14 birds, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Last carcass. Chuck that away, and let's move on to the next part. Alright, this next part can just be done by hand, and basically what we need to do is to separate some of the organs that may be stuck to the back of the breast meat, and peel off the skin that's on the front and the feathers, so that we just have the breast bone and the breast meat left. So first of all, you'll see that the liver, I think this is the liver, and the heart right here are attached right to the back of the bone. I don't know if you can see that over there. So this can pretty much just be pulled off like this, and then the skin can pretty much just be peeled off, comes off quite easily. You'll notice that on the pigeons there's a lot more skin than on the doves. Either a lot more skin or a lot more fat, I can't tell, but there's definitely a thicker, yellower layer on pigeon meat. So the rest of this can just be thrown to the side, and we're going to do these one by one. Another piece of liver or something over here. And I don't know if you can see, but there's quite a bit of meat damage here from one of the pellets, which is a bit of a bummer because it means I may not be able to use a large chunk of this breast meat, and that's why your shot placement is important. Well, one of the reasons. You either want to take a headshot if you're shooting for food, or you want to aim above the breast meat at the vitals, which is what I do. I like to aim quite high on the bird. If you aim at the breast meat from the front, with the aim of shooting through the breast meat into the vitals, a lot of the time you don't just damage the breast meat, but you actually deflect the pellet off to either side, and you just end up injuring the bird. So you want to actually aim above the breast meat at the vitals. Right, there's only one more thing we need to do, and that's to clean this up and to separate the meat from the bone. So let's get straight to that. So the dirty work is pretty much over now. We've moved indoors. I've given my knife a nice clean, and what we're basically going to do is to clean each individual breast, so that there's no feather sticking to it and there's no congealed blood, and this will just clean up our workstation and allow us to do the next step without any distractions or hassles. Just run everything under a tap. Just with your fingers you can pull off all the little feathers that are stuck to it. Get it nice and clean.
Continue washing each breast until everything's looking nice and clean, and then you can begin peeling the meat off the bone. This is actually pretty easy. I started off using a knife when I first did this, but then I discovered a method that worked, and since then I've just done it by hand. It's just a matter of getting your fingers underneath the first layer of meat and then peeling it off the keel, which is the bottom part of the breastbone. Once that's done and you've got your two main chunks of meat, you'll notice that there's actually a second layer still stuck to the bone. These 2 strips of meat are really small, but they're actually the best part, and they just happen to be the perfect size for a stir fry, which is what you have to do to the meat to make pigeon pie. And that's it, guys. That's how you turn a farmyard pest into something useful. I would never do this with dirty city pigeons, but I know that these particular birds had a diet of pretty much just corn and nothing else. In fact, they're probably healthier than the chicken that you buy off the shelf at your local supermarket. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.